right. We as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have over a $1.9 trillion spending power. But what do we have to show for that? The one common denominator is that we don't know who we are. If you take people's identity, you take their traditions, their values, now you can feed these people into whatever you want them to be. And now if you destroy their mindset, you got everything else. And that's what they've done, because like I said, hey, that was big when they started telling us we were African American, Afro American, colored, black. That was huge. Because now, what do we have to trace ourselves to before slavery?
We holy, that mean that we separate. Heathen be raising, that mean that they desperate. They know the prophecy, time of the sin lead to slavery, princes the peasants. Death is delayed, so we live for the present. Judgment for prophets that
But you're right, man. A lot of times we don't know. We have limited options. But if you think about it, get that in Zephaniah 2:1. We are a nation within a nation. You think about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You think about Rosewood, all these different cities we have, right? What all type of positions did we have in these cities?
We was entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we had our own hospitals, we had our own banks, we had everything. To where we didn't need all the other nations to come in and support us. Why we have that mindset now?
Because they, I think they destroyed people's hope.
Mm-hmm.
When they did that, because it was so massive.
Mm-hmm.
If they, you didn't grow up during those times, but who's to say that how they was going to recover that some of that magnitude? You know what I'm saying? Who was going to support them? Who was going to? Where was the support going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's various things. But now in today's society, I feel we have enough people in power with enough money to get something like that going for black people.
You're absolutely right.
It's that we just, we can't unite in the way that we need to, in the positivity we need to. We just need, I honestly think we just need a leader to promote and to push people in that way and talk about it. It's something that's not even being talked about. So.
You're right. Now I want you said we got enough money. You're right. We as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have over a $1.9 trillion spending power. But what do we have to show for that? The one common denominator is that we don't know who we are. If you take people's identity, you take their traditions, their values, now you can feed these people into whatever you want them to be. And now if you destroy their mindset, you got everything else. And that's what they've done, because like I said, hey, that was big when they started telling us we were African American, Afro American, colored, black. That was huge. Because now, what do we have to trace ourselves to before slavery?
They say we're the only culture that don't have a second language. We have, people that come from Africa that speak, but we as people in America don't have, the Latinos come over here, they speak their language here, and they also speak, they have their second language. The Spanish, not the Spanish, the Japanese, the Chinese, they have their second language. But we as black people don't. And that's because they had destroyed that. You know what I'm saying? I just feel as people, we've just been so misguided and so misled over years that it's going to take a whole lot.
Yeah. So, hey, what they didn't count on, bro. This is for not. You heard the Willie Lynch letters? So Willie Lynch letter. You heard of him, my man? So with the Willie Lynch, what they did, there was a rule book basically on how to break slaves to control them for years to come. And he said, if we do this properly, we implement this properly, it will take a phenomenon in order to break this. What they didn't count on was the Bible coming into play, because this Bible is the phenomenon. A lot of us don't realize our history is in the Bible, bro. From slave ships to getting our backs whipped, all that stuff is in the Bible. And we can prove that to you. Let's get it real quick. Deuteronomy 28. Let's read verse 15. Let's see why this stuff happened first, though.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God said, if we didn't listen to his commandments, curses gonna come upon us and overtake us. A lot of us, all we know is the 10 commandments. That's all we know. But we don't know there's more laws than just 10 commandments. And if you look at how we live on a day-to-day basis, some of us, we have some bit of morality, but for the majority of our people, bro, they live however they want. They live lawless. And when we do things, we go above and beyond everybody else. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
So it says, cursed shall we be in the city. Who is the ones that's killing each other down at a higher rate than any other race in this world? We are. No matter what city you go to, is blacks killing black people. We sell drugs to our own people in our own neighborhoods. Well, you got to think about the mentality of that.
What do you blame that?
You said you were what?
That goes into loss of identity.
You think it's a loss of identity?
That's part of it, because if you take somebody's identity, you can take their hope. You can strip them of any type of future that they think they can have for themselves. And then you can feed on them anything you want them to feed. Think about Rick Ross and the original Rick Ross and all them. He was one of the first persons that brought drugs, they used to bring drugs into the community, should I say. They funneled it through him. Why did they choose a white man to bring the drugs to the community? Why didn't they choose a Japanese man to push the drugs in the community?
Fall guy.
Yeah, they needed a fall guy, and those people actually knew who they are and where they come from. But us, once they took our nationality, bro, they said, you know what, this is what I want, and I can give you millions of dollars to do it.
Do you believe in systemic racism?
Absolutely.
Do you believe that got a part in it whatsoever?
Do I think they got what?
Do you believe that has a part in it or a hand in it whatsoever?
Absolutely. Because if you think about systemic racism, we not the ones in the offices to make those laws. And then when you get somebody in there, it's just a puppet. They doing that just to appease the people that look like them.
So what do you think that this guy Trump?
Hey man,
Since I mean he's going against the grain.
Trump is doing exactly what the Lord want him to do.
Yeah, he's going against the grain, and he kind of trying to rewrite his own history. You know, he's trying to write his own history. But to a certain extent, I respect some of the stuff he's doing because he's not agreeing to everything that the government is pushing. But there's a lot of stuff he's doing I don't agree with. But you know, who's to say how it's gonna really pan out? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you why Trump is a necessary evil. All right, get that in Job 36 and 15, I believe it is. When you think about us, when times is good, do we care about how the system is treating us? We don't care at all, right? Think about when all them stimulus checks was coming out and them PPI loans. Black people was good. We was sitting back chilling, right? But watch this, read that.
Job chapter 36 and verse 15. He delivered the poor in his affliction and opened their ears in oppression.
So when we are getting more and more oppressed, that's when our ears is opening. We start thinking, man, hold on, something ain't right. So that's why I say Trump is a necessary evil, because he gonna remind us that we still getting oppressed today. A lot of us have gotten comfortable here in America, bro. We gotten comfortable with our 9-to-5s, going home with our white picket fence in our house and just chilling. Not realizing that everything, like he said, there's systemic racism. We still got black on black crime. We still getting our babies aborted higher than any other nation in this world. There's a lot of stuff going on in our communities, bro, that a lot of times we get too comfortable with.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
I believe all that you named off is systemic racism. Everything that you named off, I believe that's a part of systemic racism, like the abortions and breaking up the families in the home, and even down to the ghettos, and even where we raised at, and even how we feel, and even how we think. You know, I think a lot of that is going down to how it was planned systemically. See what I'm saying?
You're right.
And it goes back to so many years that once you got the plan set in stone, we kind of just been hit with it. You know what I mean? We've been duped with it, right?
Yeah.
And so now, well, I won't say that goes to Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch is that theory is a little bit deeper because it goes a little bit stronger. It goes into really breaking you down. You know what I'm saying?
That's a part of
The
it, though.
systemic with definitely, yeah, most definitely. Systemically, what I was talking about is how they redlining and all that type of stuff, right? So once you create redlining and you make it to where black folks are only made to be kind of suffered in poverty, all right, because they're only living in impoverished situations, right? When it's like that and you don't really see hope, all right, you go for whatever you can. Unfortunately, desperation comes. And within that desperation, that's when we start doing other stuff like drugs and all that other stuff, right? That's a part of systemic racism.
Right,
You
I
see
got
what
you.
I'm saying? Because we didn't create the drugs, we didn't create the drug trafficking or none of that stuff.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it was actually dropped off at our doorstep to create that split in our family, just like Planned Parenthood and all that other stuff that's only in neighborhoods though. You don't get that out west, we don't get that in no white spots, you only get that in neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? So so systemically, they broke us up. Now right now, biblically, we pretty much at the end of times. You know what I'm saying? If you think of Book of Revelations and stuff like that, we really living in the Book of Revelations right now, currently. You know what I mean? And so we looking at probably deeper than Trump just being, you know, Trump could be the Antichrist that we looking at. Trump could be the, you see what I'm saying? There could be things that's going at the end of the world. Now, I'm not saying that because I ain't definitive on that or nothing. So don't take me as that. But I'm saying, like, when you really get into deep thought, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're doing right now. I think of systemic racism kind of before I think of biblical. All right? Don't take me wrong or disrespectful.
No, you good.
But I believe within theology is so many teachings, all right?
So let me show you something. 'Cause you
Go
said-
ahead.
I'm gonna show you how systemic racism is actually biblical. Get that in Psalms 83. Because it is biblical. Because like I said, in order to be able to put in place systemic racism, you gotta have the power to do so, right? Before you get that, hold that, get Job 9. Job 9:24.
The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
So now, who has the power in the earth? The whole earth, no matter what country they go into. Who has the power? Yeah, but who are the people on this earth that has the power to make laws, that has the power to bomb people, all these different things? Who them people?
Government, Congress.
Is it us?
No, it ain't us.
No,
It's
who is the
white
people?
folks.
The white folks, right? So-called white man. The Bible calls them the Edomites, according to the Bible, or Esau. All right, it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? And read the last part.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not,
All throughout the movies, all throughout every family has seen a picture. What color is Christ? What color is Christ, my man?
What?
That's the color that they portray.
That's the cover they portray, right? In the movies and media, all that stuff. That's how the Bible says they cover the faces of the judges. Because now we think everybody in the Bible is white.
Right.
We think Moses is white. We think Paul was white. We think Jesus was white. But nowhere in the scriptures can you prove that. All right, so it says these people, they have the power to even change the image of what we see as the images, even though it's written in this book. They covering the faces of the judges. We are supposed to be the judges of this world. But we don't know that because we don't know who we are. All right, so now, that's the first part. Now go to Psalms 83.
the book of Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
So first and foremost, we make the mistake of thinking people that look like us are our enemies when we go through the same common struggle every single day. Like my man said, we're not the ones that's putting drugs in our neighborhoods, bringing them over here off the ships, because we don't own those ships to do that. We're not the ones that's putting guns in our neighborhoods. We're not the ones that's doing all these things. But we think that we are our own enemies. We have real enemies that hate our very existence just because of who God called us to be. Keep reading.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They hate God because they wasn't chosen by God to be his chosen people. And it said they make a tumult. A tumult is an angry gathering. When you think about the United Nations, when you think about the G6 summits, all these different things where laws are put in place, but we're not even there to represent ourselves. Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
It said they taking crafty counsel. So a part of that systemic racism is that crafty counsel they've taken against us. When they make laws that we not even in the room to say something about. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
So these are the people, they want to cut us off from being a nation. That's why none of us know we are the true Israelites. We don't know that stuff. The churches ain't teaching that. We don't know we think the people that's in the land today are the real Jews, but nowhere in the Bible can they prove that this Bible relates to them. Nowhere. Even in their name, they call themselves Jewish. What does ish mean? If I say I'm gonna be somewhere around 10-ish, then you don't be there right at 10? No, it means somewhere around there, right? If I say something is black-ish, is it really black? So how they calling themselves Jewish right in our face, and we thinking they the real people of the book? Hey, it'd be the most simple stuff that they hide in plain sight that we don't pick up on. That goes to get with that crafty counsel, which is another way of saying systemic racism. It's crafty counsel. All right, we are the real Israelites, but a lot of us don't know that.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.